Bobby Roast Beef here, Jigs and friggin' Bigs. We have one hell of a show for you guys tonight. Tonight, we are recording. It is Father's Day, everybody. Happy Father's Day to everybody. We're glad that, we're in this position with children, and we get to celebrate this day once a year, which is absolutely awesome. But so much stuff has gone on in the last 7 days, guys. I've got a big bunch of news to talk about that's going to happen in segments 1 and 2. Part of that is going to go into a Broke on the Boat segment. We haven't had one of those in a while. We're going to be talking about why it's a better decision to buy new versus used. What are the benefits of doing that? We've also got in a couple of FTGs, actually. This show is chock full of FTGs that you don't want to miss out on. Some of them involve marketing. Some of them involve dead cats. Some of them involve just social media fuckery. I mean, you don't want to miss it, guys. We have... we got all kinds of good stuff. Our special guest co-host is Josh Cotier. You guys loved it when he was on. We brought him back again for this one. We're going all out live. We got everybody's a jighead tonight. You're a jighead. I feel like Oprah Winfrey. It is absolutely fantastic, guys. We will see you with more Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. Don't go too far, guys. Get yourself something delicious to enjoy. We lost Josh for a hot minute. That's what the kids would say, but he's back, and that's what's good. Yeah. We have a bunch of honorary jig heads tonight, a mix of card-carrying jig heads and other jig heads that are joining us for this live stream. Again, we're on Facebook tonight live. We're on YouTube live, and we're on Instagram live as well. We got over on Instagram, we got about 30 some people, I guess, looking over there watching the show, which is pretty freaking sweet. We got Wolf Walmart goes, please tell me one of the sound effects you're throwing in is running in flip-flops, because that's the sound that all of us made as fathers. That's very true, though. Yeah.
You ever see that dude that does the videos where he runs and all different types of footwear?
Yeah. And every time I get a little more anxious that he's going to fall and lose his face.
The one that got me, the latest one I saw, is he was fucking doing it on pavement in hockey skates. I was like, what the fuck?
In hockey skates?
In hockey skates.
Fuck that. No, no, not for me. Not for me, guys. Before we dive into this week's show, Joe, you remember last week I had told you that I had tried out another barbecue spot, and I was pretty amazed with it.
Yeah.
It's part of the regular rotation. Last night, my daughter, she had her dance recital, and she's like... I said, normally when it's dance recital weekend, I'm like, let's go out for dinner. It's the end of. I'm going to celebrate the fact that I don't have to drive the kids to the studio and do all that stuff anymore. Yeah. And then I get a couple month reprieve before any of that starts. They're celebrating a fantastic show, and she goes, Dad, I'm kind of in the mood for barbecue again. Why don't we order from that place again? I was like, no shit. My wife was home for it. She's like, this is out of this world. I was like, well, holy shit. They even passed the coleslaw test. It blew my mind. So, yeah, pit stop, man. I'm telling you, don't sleep on pit stop in Westfield.
When I get back from my little trippy trip, I'm going to hit it probably for lunch at work.
Everybody's doing trips. So why don't you talk about a little bit about the trip? Because this is a big deal. We're going to have a lot to talk about in next week's show after the trip's wrapped up.
Yeah. So heading up to St. Lawrence River. Josh, I think, is going to meet us up there at some point this week as well.
Nice.
Yeah, going up there with Taylor, some of his other guys. I think it's maybe 6 or 7 of us all together. Chris and Christina from A-Bay, have been extremely kind enough to let us stay in their shindigs that they have up there. So that's awesome. So we're going up there. A lot of it's, film a little bit of content for Fish or Die, as well as just, just have a good time, get on the smallies. Season just opened there. So, yeah, I've never been up there, so I'm pumped. I don't have a boat for it. We can get it.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But, that's what I got going on this week. So I'm pumped.
Honestly, Joe, I wish I could just loan you mine. But I feel like it's not ready yet, unfortunately. We'll talk more about that. Yeah. I wish I would, 100%, but son of a bitch. Yep. Oh, Dude, regardless, the boat situation, it's going to be a blast. Yeah. You're going to get killer content up there. And if I'm not mistaken, up at St. Lawrence, like, this is a big week to be there because it's the opener week, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that's kind of scary is there's like a crazy like heat wave coming up there.
Yeah,
this
there
week.
is. Yep. It's going to be in the 90s.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I don't know what Josh thinks of that, but makes me a little nervous. They're probably going to go deep. Gonna go deep, I would think.
Stay hydrated. You'll be fine.
I just hope the wind stays down so you can get out on the lake, really.
Yeah.
Tim Behan is he was on Facebook, said, "Hey guys," and then jumped over to YouTube and said, "Hey guys," again. Tim, how you doing, bud? Before we get too far into this, all of the winners of the June, of the May scavenger hunt have been awarded their winnings and everything. We're actually, because this week has just been insane, I will be doing the raffle drawing next week's show. So next week's show, we'll do the raffle drawing, everything else, because we got a lot of stuff to do, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and actually talk about those May winners while we're thinking about it now? It was a game of inches, is really what it came down to, for the May multi-species scavenger hunt. It was a good one, and you guys turned out. It was absolutely freaking awesome. Oh, do I not have those? Well, it's a good thing I have a note right here with all the information. All right, May scavenger hunt. This is how it worked out. We had 27 anglers in total, which meant that the top 4 positions were going to pay out. Coming in fourth place with, I believe, I want to say, I forget exactly how many species. We had Eric Graves, Gravy in fourth place right there. He got 10% of the pot right there. Nice job, Gravy. And again, Gravy's going to come up later when I talk about my week, because I fucked up this week. It was bad, but you'll see. Third place, placing, I believe, for the first time in any tournament ever, Janelle Orsino took third. And she owes that to a 29-inch bowfin that she caught that gave her a nice lead in the inches overall to take that third place spot. That is pretty freaking awesome. The one and only Tim Behan, second place. Nice job, Tim. And, we've been talking about this all through like the second half of May up until now. Dave Shade took the win this month, or in May. He took the win in May. Dave Shade, 17 different species, which it could very well be a record. I need to touch base with Sean the Fisherman to verify that. I don't think anybody else has gotten that many species in one time. It was an absolute wild month. June has been a shit show for myself, but folks are out there. But I'll tell you, everybody's kind of feeling it. Do you guys feel like June has been a little bit shitty?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it has.
Well, yeah, actually, Todd's asking.
It's definitely that stuff. I haven't been out much. Usually once the fish get on beds around here, I just freaking wait 30, 40 days and just don't fish locally until after.
Yep. I have noticed it has been a fucking grind, like the weather just being up and down. This weekend was a perfect example. I'm going to start with my week because I think I have a feeling I had the fishiest week out of the three of us.
Definitely.
And then we'll touch on, see what everybody's been going. So the big one, I started this week, Monday, like usual, Monday is a day for editing and a day for getting the week prepped for work and everything. And I had all intentions of going out and doing some fishing on Tuesday. And then, there's just something occurred to me over it was really like right after we recorded the show last week, Joe, and then talking on Monday with a handful of people, I was just like, you know what? Mm-hmm. I'm not having a great experience with the used market for buying a boat. Like I had mentioned last week, I was in the market and I was looking around and I had a total of, in total, I counted them. There were 6 boats that I'd asked about. I had gotten a reply from one dude. And it was a little bit sketchy of a boat, and it was like a good 7-hour drive away. So I was like, I don't know about that. I told him straight up, I was like, I'm going to keep you on the back burner, And the one dude that I had been looking at, it was kind of like I said, it was like a unicorn. It was in my price range for used. The way I was going to, acquire this boat, it was the target there. And it seemed like it was in good shape. And we had some mutual friends, which I felt was like a good little vote of confidence there. Definitely wanted to get it out on the water, make sure that everything checks out, and have somebody with me to check it out for sure. And then I said, you know what? I was just a little disenchanted with the whole thing. So you know what I did? I said, what am I buying? I'm buying a deep V. So I'm going to look at the 4 main companies. I started with Lund. I looked at Alumacraft. I looked at Crestliner, and I looked at Tracker for their deep Vs, looking for like that 16 to 18 foot sort of window, looking for a 40 to 50 horsepower 4-stroke, flat floor, all just pretty minimalist, because again, and this will all be disclosed in future episodes, there is a plan for this boat. And I used every single one of these websites has a boat builder. Like, you can figure out what the budget is with what you're looking for, and if you're like dreaming, or if like what you can actually do, and you can, add and take away features until you get it honed right to what you can comfortably, go for. And I was in a specific sort of pocket. And of course, like, Lund was kind of my first choice. Like, it was just sort of what I was interested in. So of course they kept sending me, the website kept sending me to contact Hanks Marine. So I reach out to Hanks, and I get on the phone with Matt, and he was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Why don't he and I were talking about the boat that I was initially looking at, which was a Fury, a 16-foot Fury, right?" And he says to me, he's like, "I just put I just ordered a whole bunch of those." He's like, "And you know what those are really great for? A lot of guys around here will buy them as their quabbing boat, Throw 25 horsepower on there, you're good to go." And he's like, "But the thing is, it's a little bit narrow." It really is. It's a little bit narrow, and it's a little bit unstable. He's like, what you are really kind of looking for is something a little bit more with a wider beam for stability. If you're talking about creating content and having, stability is going to be a big deal there. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. So let's talk. What do we have? He says, I have a 1650 Angler SS, which is the side console. He goes, I've got one up here. He goes, why don't you come up and take a look at it? We'll see what we can do. So that's what ended up happening. Tuesday, I took a ride up to Hanks Marine, had a great conversation. I will tell you this much. I was in their office, and I have never encountered a group of coworkers that were of the Jigs and Bigs mentality as much in my life. Like, those dudes are awesome. All of them. And
they're cool guys.
Yeah, we had a really, really great conversation. I took a look at the boat. It's freaking exactly what I'm looking for. So I pulled the trigger. I now own a Lund, a 1650 SS Angler. Yeah, I'm freaking stoked, man. I'm absolutely stoked. In fact, I called my dad. It's one of the first calls that I made. And it was Wednesday morning, I found out about the financing. That was the big one. I was like, okay, so we got to figure out, if I can financially pull this off or not, what's going on. And they were able to get me into the window that I needed to be in for my payments, which is absolutely freaking awesome. So I'm stoked. We are going to have Matt and company on the show shortly, probably with like an interview segment. We might even actually, Joe, if you're down, we might just go record on location. That could be kind of cool. We haven't done that
that's
yet,
fine. I mean, I'm right there, and I've known Matt forever.
And that's
so
why I
went
think
to school with him.
That could be pretty awesome, because you guys have a lot of history, which is friggin', and we're talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, these two guys are two peas in a pod. I can tell. I can fucking tell. And it was great. It was absolutely awesome. So I got the call from Barry that everything checks out on the for the financials. We confirmed it. They ordered the outboard, so that should be. I'm hoping to see it in like 2 weeks. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, something like that. So the plan is I'm going to go and I'm going to break the boat in, and I'm going to fish with it, get comfortable with it, all that kind of stuff, live with it for a little while. And then it's going to go through various stages of modification. And those stages, I'm going to be taking all of the jig heads and all the YouTube subscribers and everybody on that journey. So you guys are going to see this boat kind of change as it goes. I'll tell you, there's a handful of things that I'm really excited about fishing with being able to fish in a boat. Number one is going out and bringing my dog. I'm so stoked about that. Because at first I was like, I'm not really interested so much in going out and fishing alone. I'm buying a boat primarily to fish with other people, which is true. But then I'm like, man, now I can go and fish with my dog. Like, that's great. I can just chill. I'm leaving the Bimini top on so that way I can pop it up and he's got some shade. I'm stoked to fish with my wife. She thinks we're just we have a trip coming up in the end of July. We're going to see our favorite band, the Flaming Lips, in Burlington, Vermont, right? Mm-hmm. It's at this park right alongside Lake Champlain. And she, whenever we're going out of town for a show, she likes to book, lodging. So she booked actually 2 nights at this. It's like a remodeled motel that has an attached, drive-in theater. And she's like, yeah, we're going to use that and everything. It's going to be cool. And I'm like, well, we're there for 2 days. I go, I'm going to call them and see if there's a spot where I can park with the boat. And as long as there is, let's take the boat and take it up on Champlain. And if nothing else, cruise around a little bit. Of course,
she doesn't know how much storage is on this boat.
And when I say there is storage on this boat, holy shit. That's one thing that Lund does. They don't leave any unused space. It is every single inch of that boat is used for fishing. Every single bit of it. Yeah. It's pretty badass. So yeah, I'm absolutely stoked, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really, really stoked.
Yeah, I mean, I had my deep V, my tracker. Loved it. You asked me, I was like, dude, Lund is the brand I'd go with.
Yeah.
When it comes to deep Vs, I mean, unless you're trying to get into fucking Ranger and Skeeter money, which I knew you weren't.
Definitely no.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked for you. That's awesome. That's going to be a blast. Bringing your dog's going to be awesome. I love bringing my dog. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I'm pumped for you.
Yeah,
it'll be a learning curve for you, just like it is for everybody.
What's that?
What's that?
You'll be in the derbies in no time.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about that. I might jump into some just for fun, to keep it kind of interesting. But I don't. That's the thing, and that's what I was looking at. Really, this boat is going to be used primarily for content. So I'm going to be doing some weird rigging on here for power. So this way I could actually record a podcast episode right in there. I want to have areas where I can charge, wireless mics and things like that, because I want the audio to be really, really great, especially if I'm fishing with somebody and we're doing an interview. That's where I see a lot of this stuff going. So my hope is that I can be in a part of the country and record an interview with somebody and then save that for what? Is that a mosquito shooter?
It's a fucking yellow jacket staring me down.
You might be a redneck if.
That is crazy. Oh, great.
I muted it.
Yeah, you did. I was like, is that a Skeeter shooter? Holy shit. Gravy chimes in, says, what's going on, guys? Thank you very much, Todd. I appreciate that. Man, that is something. That's a salt one?
Dude. Yeah, dude. It didn't even he's just mad.
Oh, great.
Joe's so if you see me go running away, you know why.
Joe's going to get stung and he's going to have a giant swollen lip and he's going to
Dude, I'm in my little garage area and I was doing work today, so I had the door open. This motherfucker's
sons
right
of bitches.
On in.
So we got a boat, there's that. I'm stoked, everything. My head has just been in that all week. So I didn't actually get out to fish until Friday. But when I sent it on Friday, I sent it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I have a note right here.
I caught them. I 100% was catching fish. I was not catching the right fish. So let's go ahead and review. I decided, I was like, we're going trout fishing. We're going to the Swift River, baby. Let's do it. Now, Friday, we're expecting some squirrely weather. Some storms are going to come in about noontime. So I got out on the water about 6 or 7. I head out and I'm fishing, and it was not a single bite. I got a couple of follows here and there. And I changed out my presentation, and then I went down about as far as I could go. And then I said, if I'm going to make it back before the rain starts to hit, it wasn't even the rain I was worried about. It was really just lightning. But I'm like, before the storm rolls in, I'm going to start heading back up. But while I was down there, I tied on that BFS glide. that came in that Dark Horse box a while ago. I had never thrown that.
No, I haven't either.
Dude, it is amazeballs. It works
good.
So unbelievably well. In fact, this week for Gear of the Week, or for Gear of the Week, I'm going to be talking about the Sayonara Dark Wolf 50, my BFS reel. I can't believe this thing it's like a puppet. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Yeah. I did swap out the split ring on the front end. Remember, there was like a couple of months back, there was a spare split ring that came in because they had put too large of one on. And I mean, it's on the brand new one, but man, it is absolutely awesome. This thing just is amazing. So I ended up making my way back in. There was a guide boat that was out there. It was the only other people fishing I saw on Friday at all. This one guide boat is out there. They're just kind of tooling around and doing their thing. And I asked them if they're catching them. They're like, nothing, not a single thing. Well, right before that rain started to come in, that's when they fired up. Like right before that rain, because they started to fire up. And then it was about 15 minutes later, that rain started to really kind of start, So I had a rainbow that was hooked. And as I was trying to grab the net, shakes off.
Bitch.
So I also caught like 4 or 5 brook trout. I have never caught a brook trout before. This was a big moment for me, but I was...
Oh, shit. You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
You've been trying to catch one of those for a minute.
For a hot minute, and I caught like 4 or 5. They were all about like 5 or 6 inches. Like, I'm like, you motherfucker, I need an 8. That's the thing. So I didn't even grab a picture with one because I was like, too small, got to keep going. Because I knew my window of time was so short. And I'm like, love to get a picture, buddy, but nope, not this time. We'll be back. We'll do this again another time. So I was catching them, just they were the wrong freaking ones. I get off the water. It's like pouring, man. Absolutely pouring at this point. Get everything all packed up, and I head back in. I go to work that night. Now, my plan was to go out up the shears. Pike on the brain. That was my plan. Go and get some pike. Let's go ahead and do it. I 100% undersold how much wind we were expecting that day. So I leave. Well, I'll tell you guys where I was. I was fishing in a Noda, right?
Yeah.
You know how you come out of the ramp and there's that point to your right?
Yep.
That point shelters a lot of wind. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
I got out in front of that and started trying to make my way to my spot, and it was just, it was whitecaps like a motherfucker. I was taking water over the bow, like basically every single wave that came up. I'm like, I keep all my scupper holes open anyway for that reason, just in case. And I'm just all right, whatever. It was hot as balls. I'm like, all right. I started, if I would have gotten out there, I think about like 6 a.m., 7 o'clock, would have been okay. I decided to sleep in, and I was like, I've got all day. I'm going to go ahead and fish. Now, I fished 3 different spots entirely. Gravy, we're going to talk about that today. Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. So I go and I send it. I made it maybe 30 minutes. Like, there was a point where I was going straight into the wind, pedaling my ass off, and I looked to my right, and I could see I was going backwards. It was that bad. It does not help that I am built like a sail. I'm not going to lie. Like 100%, that's on me. I am a wide human being, And that wind just hits me, and it's like, yeah, you're not going anywhere, man. So I flipped around. I fished a little bit around the ramp. For whatever reason, that fishing pier was loaded with people. There were lines all over the place. So I kind of went further back to just follow along this one bank. And I'm like, it was just pushing me along so fast. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to head back and we'll call it. Now, there is a spot nearby where there are some bowfin. And I figured I'd go ahead and give my, luck a little bit of a shot up there. And I headed out to this one spot, and I was throwing topwater frogs, because over there you kind of have to. It's pretty weedy. Lots of pads. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm over there with topwater frog. Not even a sniff, nothing. And the other big bowfin bait that I have had results with is just throwing a simple green pumpkin Senko. Nope. I had a feeling that was going to be the case, but that was my backup. This is all up on the bank. Like, I was on the side of the road just fucking trying to grab bowfin. Nothing. This next segment is brought to you by Perseverance. I was so ready to say fuck it, but I'm like, there's one other spot I need to hit, and that spot
Fucking Browntown, son.
Mm-hmm. It's on the way. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to send it. I got nowhere to be. I really don't have to be home until about 5 o'clock. So I'm going to go and send it. I grab my gear. I park. I've got everything, the whole rig, everything with me. I park right by there because Browntown is a bank spot. I go into this one spot and the trail is way overgrown. And as I'm making my way down, no bullshit. It was like a troll from under the bridge pops out. No bullshit. It was just this dude that I think forgot he was not on fish tour and was just drinking in a lawn chair under the bridge. I'm no bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I get down there and I see the lawn chair. I don't know where he went. I think he went to the package store to go and re-up on provisions. So I get down there and I go to my regular spot. He's nowhere near there. I'm like, this is good. No problem. No sweat. Bang, smallmouth. I'm like, all right, sweet. BFS. This was a micro jig. I'm like, all right, cool. Little tiny river smallie, like maybe a 10-inch river smallie. A lot of fun. I'm like, sweet, release this fish. I'm like, they're biting. This is a good thing. And down there, I'm pretty well sheltered from the wind. I'm like, all right, this is cool. The water is crazy low, lower than I've ever seen it. And he comes back down and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm here for a brown trout and I'll be out of your fucking hair. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'm in this scavenger hunt tournament. I was like, I'll be out of here. No problem. He's like, oh, bro, I just got a call, man. I'm going to go and fucking play some badminton with some friends and such and such. I'm like, oh, all right, man, cool. He packs up his chair and he takes off. He's like, I'm telling you, he's like, I saw them jumping down there. Like, see where that overhang is? He's like, right down there. I saw him jumping. So I go back up to the truck, and I was wearing my Crocs initially. I put my water shoes on that I kayak fish with, and I just wet weighted that bitch like up to my knees, all the way down. I caught so many fucking rock bass, which I need for the scavenger hunt. I do need rock bass. They were on fire. They were coming in. The biggest one came in at 7 1/4. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So I leave. I'm like, not a waste. Like, I'm catching them. They're just the wrong fucking ones. So I decide to go out today, right? And I'm like, Anoda owes me. I'm going. We're sending it. And this is where I fucked up. I fucked up because I forgot. I think it was Thursday or Friday. I was talking with Gravy. And Gravy was like, hey, if you're looking to fish on Sunday, I'm going to this spot. And I'm like, all right, sweet. Awesome. Let's do it. He's like, I'll see you there at 6. I was like, perfect. Completely left my mind. When I woke up today, I was like, Anoda owes me for yesterday. It fucking owes me. So I am in the Berkshires and I get a text from Gravy. I'm like in Pittsfield. And he's like, bro, what's your ETA? And I'm like, oh, that's right, motherfucker, you dumb bastard. And I got what I deserved for that shit. I caught one smallmouth on an A-Bay floating jerk. That was it. Yeah, that was fucking it. And when I say, like, it was the weirdest, like, I knew this was, I was like, I don't think this is necessarily a pattern. I make this cast up to this rock pile, right? And as the jerkbait hits the water, yeah, that's what I thought, Gravy. You deserve it, man. Good for you. Happy Father's Day. So I make this cast with this jerkbait. It hits the water and gets smacked immediately. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I can live with that. I give it one twitch and I'm on. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. I snagged that fish right in the fucking abdomen. Just fucking snagged him with a rear treble. I'm like, whatever. Hey, I'll take it. I got him in the boat, doesn't help me for anything, as far as the derb goes. So that's kind of shitty. So yeah, I went out and and it was when I say it was like the polar opposite, like I thought we were going to have some like mild wind today. It was slick calm all day. And I made it until about 11:30. And then I had two speedboats with water skiers on either end of the lake, like just fucking zip zapping back and forth. I had a pontoon boat that I thought was going to capsize. They were cutting across this one wake that was made, and this pontoon was looking very fucking sporty. I was like, this is not, and I am somebody of a particular size. They had a number of particularly sized people on one side of that pontoon boat. I saw this not ending well for some of these folks. I really did. So I get back to the launch. Dude, holy shit. I talked to these dudes that were out trolling. They caught a bunch of trout. rainbows and browns. And I was like, how deep were they? I'm just curious. They were like 25, 30 feet. I was like, all right, so they're fucking real deep. Okay. Not going to be throwing any like super. I'm going to be waiting a little while for that fucking BFS lure to fucking sink that far. That's drop shot time. So I'm like, but I'm not doing it today because of all the insanity. I counted 6 jet skis in line to leave. I also saw one of the fucking craziest things I've never seen before. Right?
Okay.
Have you ever seen? I've seen a vehicle that has a trailer hitch on the front. Usually, it's used for like a winch. You know what I mean? You'll put a winch in there, something like that. This dude was loading his jet ski on the trailer in front of his F-150. It was like a Raptor too. Yeah, I'm like, and I told him, I was like, I've never seen that shit. What's the reason? And he goes, oh, it's for like when you got to back into like super tight spots, like the side of road.
Who the fuck is loading a jet ski at the side of the road?
Was it a stand-up?
Huh?
Was it a stand-up ski?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Oh, those are so fun.
I'm sure that they're fun, but I'm like, oh my God, dude. And why do you feel the need? Like, you didn't drive that here that way. You pulled into the ramp, and like, what is the fucking reason? Just back it down. Like, I don't fucking get it. I just don't get it. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? There's so much fuckery. I left the ramp today, and there was a car that came up, and 2 girls jump out of the car, both of them holding Coronas, 6 a.m. Both of them holding Coronas, go down to the water. They're all fucking like laughing and giggling and shit. And these 2 other drunk morons come out, and I'm like, yeah, this is the leftover. This is the after party is what this is. And then they're like, okay, it's cold. I was out in a hoodie today. It was freaking cold. It was in the high 40s when I launched.
It was chilly this morning.
Chilly in the mountains, man. I was like, holy shit. But
yeah, it was chilly.
Eric, I wasn't going to say it. I'm glad you did, Gravy. It says someone needs to take that guy's man card. And the thing is, like, if I were in a bar, I would expect this dude, like, just looking at him, I'd be like, oh, this guy's got fucking like a decorated man card. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and here you are front loading a fucking jet ski. Where's the Borat fucking bathing suit? Jesus Christ. I am such a prick. I am the worst. I am the worst human being, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's fine. So yeah, that was my week as far as adventure goes. I did have full intention. I was going to go and hit another spot and fish. And then I'm like, dude, it's Father's Day. I've been out already for 6 hours. I got up so early. I'm like, I'm going to go home and take a fucking nap. I'm just going to go home and take a nap. So I stopped on the way. I had an amazing sandwich, and I drove home, called my dad on the ride. He is so excited for our first send in this boat. He is so stoked. I can't wait. It was like, this is a big, big factor in me, like, going down this road and into boat ownership. And I've been joking with everybody at Trivia. I'm like, hey.
You know, I made the worst financial decision of my life this week.
And people are like, what? And I'm like, I bought a boat. And they're like, oh, shit, really? My favorite was I was leaving Casa de Lisa on Friday. And I'm having this conversation on the way out. And the dude I'm talking to says,
what are you, an idiot?
And I was like, yeah, but I'm going to use it. You know, I fish like 3 or 4 days a week easily. So I'm like, I'm going to be in this thing at least twice a week. And he's like,
it's not a bad financial decision if it makes you happy.
And he's like, dude, it's a fishing boat. No, that's a great decision. He's like, I thought you bought like a fucking speedboat or a bayliner or like fucking something stupid like that. And I'm like, I ask stupid people questions. I'm not one of them. You know, that's what I do. So yeah, I'm my dad's stoked. Like I can't believe, I think it was 2 hours after I left Hank's, I stopped off at Tractor Supply to get a ball for my hitch, because it's a different one than what I've got. So I'm like, let's get all this shit together. And my wife is like, hey, I'm ordering this. She sent me a link to Amazon for a PFD with a mermaid tail for her dog, Eleanor. That little gray. She's like, well, I'm going to have and then I'm out on the water Friday. She goes,
hey, hubby, can I get a boat pig?
And I'm like, what the fuck do you think this is Noah's Ark? She wants to get a pig. And luckily,
a boat.
Luckily,
just a pig.
She wants to get like a teacup pig, like one of those miniature pigs. And
oh God!
Apparently, it was like there was like a field day or something. She's a school nurse, and they had like a little petting zoo, and one of the things was this like miniature pig. And I was like, you realize the moment they go off that super specialized diet, you have a regular pig.
Oh yeah,
100%. I was like, that thing could be 300 pounds like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think we need that. I'm like, we really don't. Although I did experiment with the idea of naming that pig, should she ever get one, Rum Ham. I'm ready. We should talk about the name. Did you guys see the poll that I had on Instagram for the name of this boat?
Yeah.
No.
So I had two names that I've always wanted to call a boat. One of them is the name of a boat, and they're both from pop culture. The other one comes from a boat episode of a television show. Those shows are The Sopranos and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the two names...
One of my favorite shows.
Me too. The It's Always Sunny one was The Implication. Name the boat The Implication, which is a tremendously dark joke. Tremendously dark. Like, I was explaining this to some people at trivia on Friday, and they looked horrified, and understandably so. So I go, and the other one is from Sopranos. It's the name of Tony Soprano's boat, Stugats, which in Italian slang means testicles. And it can also, in a sarcastic way, kind of mean my dick, which is like perfect. Like, it's the perfect attitude. I'm like, that is awesome. I did vote from the Bobby Roast Beef account, not from the, I couldn't vote from the Jigs and Bigs account, but from my Bobby Roast Beef account, I voted for Stugats. I was gunning for Stugats to win. The winner 100% was the implication. It's the implication. So, I'm just saying, fish with me at your own risk, apparently.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Fuck it, indeed. Oh, but yeah, I'm not going to get it painted on or anything like that, but I might get a little tiny vinyl sticker made that says The Implication and put it on the console. Put it right over there.
Perfect.
How about you boys? This is a big week for me. Did you guys do anything fishy? Any boat woes? Anything like that?
Oh, Josh, I'll let you go first, man, because I got some boat woes.
I should mix another drink.
I didn't fish at all this week. Just been nothing but work. I think hopefully Wednesday through the rest of Sunday I'll be fishing full time that time. But other than that, my boat's just floating in a slip up on Winnipesaukee and just not getting used.
Oh, that's the worst feeling.
Oh shit! I didn't know it was up at Winnie.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I gotta fish Winnie now, just for the experience. Beautiful. I'm going to go do it on like a Tuesday. I'm not fucking around on a Saturday or anything like that. I'm going to go do it on a Tuesday,
Spring's good. The fishing's good before any of the tourists get there and the speedboats put their boats in. So.
I'll bet you that's awesome. That's a great time of year. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look who it is. It's the one and only Metal Jones. Zach, how we doing, buddy? It is hotter than the bull's ass out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that heat wave's already hit him.
Yeah, it's coming, and it's going to be brutal.
It's going to be bad here, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be
My wife
bad,
was like, you're going to leave me for a week when it's 100 degrees out and I got to deal with the kids? I was like, yeah.
Oh, it'd be so nice on the St. Lawrence. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Just put a sprinkler in the yard and let them go,
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. So do we want to talk about my week? Shall we?
I do. I'm curious because we haven't really I've been so concerned with my own boat situation that I don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah. So my, newer boat, it's only 2 years old, is still broke dick sitting down at the fucking dealership, all torn apart, too, as well, which that scared the shit out of me. So basically I called the guy with a lot of frustration. The guy was super nice, but I was just extremely frustrated. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on right now? And to kind of backpedal a little bit, I had that tilt issue, and there's some electrical issues going on with, my my nav lights, my bilge, my live well fill, all that shit just like stopped working. So he, in a nutshell, was like, we can't figure it out. We're still working it. We can't figure it out. It's been there almost 3 weeks. I was like, hey, I have this on the 17th. I'm leaving, heading up St. Lawrence. It's like, yeah, no problem. Now I'm 99% chance I'm not going to have it in time. I'm actually going up to St. Lawrence a day late now, just like with some kind of hope that, they're going to have it figured out.
Yeah.
But, so that's where we're at. Now he's like, he keeps saying, he's like, we're almost there. We almost got it. We're almost there. I'm like, and it's, again, the guy's super nice, but it's so fucking frustrating.
It's tough.
Like he can tell, I'm like, dude, I'm frustrated. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't had my boat for almost a month. Like I'm losing, I'm losing out the potential money. I'm losing out. Like I'm still paying on this thing. Like I haven't fished in a fucking almost a month. Like you're killing me. So basically, kind of what sprung from that is, talking to my wife and stuff. She's like, listen, I was like, we're talking like that warranty's up next year. Like, God forbid anything like this happens again. I'm fucked. Like it's going to be, I mean, I know people, obviously JCS would always like help me out and whatnot, but I don't want to be dishing all kinds of money into a newer boat. So we'll talk Friday first. So Friday, non-fishy, I had a ripped out my golf clubs for the first time in a long time. Since I can't fish. Huh? And I had a little tournament for work, someone's retirement, a little scramble tournament. So it was one of those like start drinking at 8 a.m. and it was just a fucking shit show. We had a blast. But it was awesome. A good time. But it was Friday, and dude, literally, like as we like turned the cart back in at the end, it fucking lightning, thundering, pouring out. Yeah. Like we just missed it. But Saturday, so I've been talking to like Ryan Bogley, and I talked to you, and I actually talked to Josh as well. I went down to take a look at a new boat to trade in the Skeeter. So basically kind of like, because I still owe on the Skeeter. But I went down to Thayer's, talked to Richie down there. He was awesome. He was, him and I had a good conversation. I was looking at I'm looking at an Icon LX21 that they have down there. One of the new Icons that just came out last year during the 23 Classic. Dude, this boat is insane. The deck on this thing is like a fucking aircraft carrier. It's huge.
It's bigger than the Skeeter?
Oh God, yeah.
Really?
Like, dude, it's a fucking, you can land a helicopter on the front deck.
Jesus.
It's insane. So it's a 21-foot boat, but it's basically 22 feet. It's like, I think, I mean, Josh, I think it's what, 2110 or 2111.
Yeah, the little it reminds me like the Ranger 22D. It's like almost like that. It's like fucking wild.
Yeah. So I went down there. Him and I talked. He's there's a potential of him, really helping me out, and with taking the Skeeter, I wouldn't be under or upside down or anything like that. Obviously, I still need to be kind of like you, Bobby. I still need to be at a particular place,
payment
when it comes
wise,
to payment and stuff like that. Yep. So it's not set in stone, but what I liked about this, so I actually looked at the LX20. They had one of those as well, the Icon. And I did look at a couple Bass Cats. I just was there, like, it was tough because I was looking at Icon and then Bass Cat, and I just kept going back to the Icon. But the Bass Cat's got the speed, though. That's the only thing. Like, I love going fast. Like, the Icon is not a speedboat by any means. I mean, you get like mid 60s out of it. But kept going back. I looked at the LX20, but it was all outfitted in Lowrance stuff, and I'm not a big Lowrance fan. Like everything was Lowrance on it. I don't mind the Ghost, but all the graphs are Lowrance, and that's just, I'm not into Lowrance. Mm-hmm. The good thing about the 21, the one that I'd be purchasing, is it just had like basic Humminbird setup. Yep. And I was able to just be like, all right, dude, with these, this is what I want in addition to.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, so it's got a 12 on the console, 12 on the bow. I was like, all right, dude. So I want another 12 at the console. I want a Garmin 12 at the, the same one I have on the Skeeter up at the bow with the Humminbird. I had him throw 360 on there, live scope. So we'll see. So it's, again, I'm waiting on the financial stuff. The price has got to be right. I'm not going to say it's going to happen yet because, we got to be in the right. I mean, the wife will kill me if I fucking have like a much bigger payment than I have now. So,
well, it's funny, dude, because when I was dealing with the same thing, I was like, this is where I want to be. And I intentionally set my mind at like lower than I was comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm comfortable with this. And when that number came back, it wasn't at that number that I had thrown out there. I knew it wouldn't be, but it was a whole lot closer than I had expected. And I was like, I think it was a difference of like $50 or $60. I'm like, dude, I shit and piss $50 and $60. Like what, you know what I mean?
You spend that fucking going out to dinner with the wife, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or you probably double that. Oh, Bogley, it's happening. Don't be a bitch. Yeah,
he's the worst influence, man. He is. I imagine BFS Bogley's at home. He's like,
it's all coming together. They're spending their money. Yeah. I'm going to rule the world.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was telling Josh, I was like, dude, like I got good credit and everything, but like this is an expensive fucking boat. Like they're gonna be like, I have an expensive truck, I have some other shit on my fucking credit and shit.
I feel like you and I are so similar in this situation right now.
Yeah. I was like, I told Josh, I was like, dude, I don't even know if I mean, granted, I put my wife on there. She's the moneymaker in the family, but we have a good, I'm not the best with, I make my money to spend it. I don't make my money to save it. So I have shit. You know what I mean? And so it's like
guilty.
So I was texting Josh earlier. I was like, dude, I don't even know if I would like get approved. He's like, nah, dude. He's like, no one's buying right now. Trust me. You're going to. I was like, that actually makes sense.
That's the whole thing. And, they'll approve. Are you going to be down with whatever they have for terms and everything?
The 29% interest rate.
Fuck.
And boat interest rates aren't the best.
No, they're not.
As it is.
Don't even think about it. Yeah, look at that whole dollar amount and just say like
39%. Yeah. But dude, but I'm gonna tell you right now, like I like my boat. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
there are some quirks that it has that Skeeter has. The biggest one that fucking baffles my mind, and I mean, I know Josh knows it, and you've seen it, Bobby, is when you fucking come off plane and you have all that water come over the back.
Oh, yeah.
That pisses me off, dude. That is probably the biggest thing that pisses me off about that boat. Because and like with the bilge, it's like, the good thing about the Icon is that shit's like all water. It's all like sealed. It's not with the Skeeter. So it's like that. Oh,
it's not. I would assume it would be.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Oh. But dude, so my fucking batteries and shit are always getting wet and stuff, and it fucking pisses me off. So we'll talk about the Icon for a second. So this thing's phenomenal. As you guys know, this was actually designed by Josh's favorite guy on the planet, Jacob Wheeler. Josh is a huge fan.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that Wheeler developed that boat.
Yeah, so Wheeler actually helped them develop that boat. Cool thing, and like Richie down at there, he's like Josh and I's age, a little younger than you, Bobby. You're a little step ahead, but so he. The thing's already got lithiums in it. It's already full of 125 amp hour friggin' ionics. He does it that way. He did the basic electronics on this one, and knowing he's like, dude, I knew someone was going to come in and want it the way they want it. So yeah. Yeah, dude, it was super. It was super comfortable. The space in this thing, the amount of like storage and space in this boat is astronomical.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So yeah, we'll see. The color scheme's not my favorite.
Yeah.
But honestly, like if I get this thing, I'm gonna bring it down to JCS like immediately and have it wrapped. Yeah. Mostly to protect the gel coat too. So.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
No, that makes sense, man. For what it's worth, I may or may not have hit an icon with a jig today. That was on the dock. I might have chipped a little gel coat. Yeah. I may have.
That's crazy that you found, like, there's not that many of them around. So it's crazy that you found one.
I'm like, all right. It was on a dock. Like, nobody was using it, you know?
Yeah.
Shots would have been fired otherwise, but yeah.
You
know, it wasn't anything crazy. With a little BFS.
Oh, dude, I've done, like, my biggest one is, like, I was, there was a fucking, like, whopper plopper, like, one of the big, not the biggest one, but one of the bigger ones.
100%. Nick.
And I was on the Quabog River. I was in my kayak at the time. And I wasn't really paying attention to the wind and stuff. And I fucking like flipped it and like casted it good. And it fucking, the wind took it, dude. It went like right on the seat of a fucking, of a pontoon boat that was docked. Now, It was one of those where I was just like, snipped the line real quick, reel it in. Like, well, hopefully they see it before they sit down. And yeah. And then today, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Bobby.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Josh.
To all the daddies out there.
Probably has one out there somewhere that he just doesn't know of. So happy Father's Day, Josh. You know, just in case.
Surprises are always nice, you know?
Yeah. Hey, my real dad didn't know I existed till I was 40, almost 40. So, you know, yeah. So that was my today. I just spent time with, you know, my daughter, my wife. We did some yard work, exactly what I wanted to do on Father's Day.
You know,
and
Joe,
but I did take a nap like you, Bobby. I did nap.
I think you got to have a nap on Father's Day.
Yeah,
I think you have to. I will say this, Joe. I think if there's one little bit of advice that I can give, especially, and this makes most sense here on Father's Day. It's that when you're looking at that kind of a purchase for, like, you know, a boat or whatever that toy is that you're like, I got to get it. You got to remember one thing, and one thing that is pinnacle.
Whatever daddy wants, daddy gets. Whatever daddy wants, daddy gets. Whatever daddy wants, that's exactly what daddy gets. All right.
Yeah.
All right, indeed.
Thanks to my wife, though. You know, it's all her money. She's a money maker.
We wouldn't be the daddies we are if it weren't for, you know, the women behind us, you know?
Yeah.
Supporting.
What I will say, like, she didn't go with me to get the Skeeter at all. She's just like, oh my God. She came with me to look at this icon, and she's like, this is a nice boat. And she's all about, like, I don't want to throw thousands of dollars into the Skeeter if something like this happens next
she's
year.
Looking at this as a way to kind of, like, get out of a shit sandwich.
Yeah, and she's like, we obviously are never getting a bigger house because of you. I was like, okay, that's fair. that's a fair shot fired. All right.
Yeah, fair enough. There is one little bit of info I did leave out of my week, and Joe and I already talked about this a little bit, but remember that boat that I was looking at on YouTube, on Facebook Marketplace? I had sent a message. This must have been on Wednesday after I got the financial stuff all confirmed. I sent a message to this dude, and I was like, hey, man, forget about it. I just bought a boat. And I got, what is this, 7 hours later, I was like, hey, I sold the boat. I'm working on a new one that should be ready in a couple of weeks. And he immediately followed by saying, if you need anything for your new boat, holler. And I go, already got a guy working on my custom work, dude. Appreciate it. And Joe, I think you said it the best. That was bold. That was bold, to say the least. Like, holy shit. I don't know. That's why I had to get out of that cesspool. We'll talk about that, though, in bait of the week, though, or in gear of the week for sure, because we've got much more good stuff. Or not in gear of the week. What am I talking about? Broke on the boat. I'm a mess today, guys.
Broke on the boat.
Broke on the boat. You know, going broke on the boat is for sure. Let's go ahead and talk about. You guys had mentioned something that we should definitely touch on, and it's the hot topic this week is that when was this last elite? Was it this past week?
Just ended today. Ended today.
So it just ended today, and this is the first elite where Forward Facing Sonar has not dominated. And what does that actually mean? Like, what could this all mean? I don't have a foot in this race at all. So you guys go ahead and have at it, and I'll kind of like jump in with some questions here.
Go for it, Josh. You started off because I didn't watch a ton of it. I only watched a little bit.
Well, Cliff Prince won, and I think he's been in the Elite Series for 14 years, and this is his first win. So that was pretty cool.
That's all.
But there's a lot of like offshore shoal fishing and stuff like that. Yeah. Cox did really good in the tournament. Backwaters. Alex Weatherall came in 5th place, I'm pretty sure. He's a local boy out of Connecticut who I've talked to and hung out with before.
Nice.
And they were all just fishing like shell bars or hard spots offshore on these flats. But, I mean, some of these guys are definitely using like the forward-facing maybe like perspective to like map out some spots.
Sure,
but, like, not like how it's been, like just shaking a minnow, like on a rod. It was a lot of like offshore worming and stuff like that. So it's kind of a trend in a different direction how most of the professional events have been this season, especially since springtime.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
It's the events. I mean, there's obviously we've talked about this a million times. There's so much. There's obviously a lot of haters, mostly the old school crowd with the forward facing sonar stuff. But it's like, if you have a tool, fucking use it. And I mean, granted, I mean, look at the size of the bags that have been getting put in like the last couple of years. I mean, how many century bags there's been in versus 100 plus bags over the course of a tournament versus the other tournaments. But it is good. Like, I mean, where was it was MLF, I think. I can't remember who it was, but he won an MLF recently just by frogging. He frogged the whole time, on some offshore grass, fucking, and did that. So, there are those bodies of water. I mean, and Josh and I have talked about a million times. Like, once you get under once you get into a certain depth, like that shit's dog shit. You can't use it. It's like obviously the big water, the deeper stuff you can, but sometimes that more shallow waters, where the bite's at, and it's just a tool. I mean, very rarely when I use it do I fucking and Josh, this was your first year with the Garmin, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and I'm not the one who like I don't pinpoint a fish and I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw it to this one fish for fucking 35 minutes and try to get them to bite. I'm more of like just looking for fish, and I'm like, all right, let's start throwing shit in this area and see if he bites. But yeah, but it is good to see that they still are. Not so much switching it up, but just showing that it's not always a forward-facing sonar show. So,
yeah. Absolutely. You'd have to look at like the zoom out and get that 10,000 foot view to really kind of figure it out. But in the short term, absolutely, it's a nice reminder that like, hey, it's not always about this one feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I guess I could compare it to golf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no one, I mean, they started off with wood clubs, and now they're at all these fucking crazy titanium, whatever they use now. But it's like, it just, the sport's modernized. Especially this sport needs it to keep that younger crowd in there. So the old school guys are going out, and we gotta keep the younger crowd entertained. So
it's true. Who's
sorry, not sorry.
No, fair enough, man. Fair enough. It's just wild. I was listening to an episode of Serious Angler today, and they were talking with I forget the guy's name. He's a freshwater aquatic biologist, and they were talking about like the sort of the traits of the biggest bass. You know what I mean? Like what are they eating? Like what's the behavior? All of these other things. And like, of course, forward facing came into the conversation briefly. Right. But it is, I mean, I think you nailed it there, Joe. It's like, there's an evolution going on with the sport of tournament fishing, and I think ultimately you're going to see, I don't necessarily think that tournament fishing was really ever a great spectator sport. You know what I mean?
No,
it's not like watching a basketball game. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like you got grandstands around the fucking fishing spots.
It's like, I know that there's these guys that are like, I don't want to watch, so-and-so staring at a screen for the whole event. But it's like, how many people are actually watching? That's a really hard number to get. To really determine, like actually watching, because if it's the whole thing, like, and they're streaming it, they're not actively watching that. It's just playing in the background and they're hearing whatever the announcers are talking about. No, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's more of that. So, like, what you're looking at, it doesn't matter in that sense. And if that's what how the majority of people are spectating that sport,
But I mean, put it this way: these tournaments essentially are 32 hours long, and they get maybe 4 hours of TV coverage, like 2 hours each morning, like 2 hours Saturday morning, 2 hours Sunday morning on Fox Sports 1, so not even like a main sports channel. And everything else is live streamed, and you have to go on to the website.
Go on the website, and and that. But it's like nobody's taking their entire day and just sitting there with a beverage, watching that entire thing. If anything, they're going to want to be out fishing themselves. Yeah. Maybe they're streaming it and listening to it on the boat, but still, like, then they're not watching it, so who cares if these guys are looking at a screen or not,
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I think eventually you're going to see the bags change enough where it's going to be like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now, maybe instead of focusing so much on the action being in one particular part of the year or this part of the country, now maybe this gives a little bit more diversity. We can move around a little bit more, Yeah. I don't know. I mean, again,
it's not just like you said, Bob. It's not like people like us. Like, we I like watching it. I like going in, kind of see what
Joe likes to watch.
But yeah. But no, actually, no. But oh fuck, I lost my train of thought on that. Oh yeah, but these, these guys don't have much different days than we do. It's not like they're catching a fish every fucking 3 minutes. They could go hours without catching a fish. So it's like, now you're just watching a dude just cat, and like, it's, for these guys that have cameras on their boat. So now in their head, think about the anxiety they have, that they have to think about, like, oh, now I have to keep I'm not catching a goddamn thing. Yeah. And I have to keep talking to this camera in case they switch to me. You know what I mean? I just want to fucking catch these fish. So, there's a lot of different fucking, factors that go into it.
Did you guys see that video? I forget who it was peeing off the bow of his boat. And I think he set the hook on like a pretty good fish too. Yeah. And I'm like, and that's the thing. Like, if I'm out doing my thing and it's like, it's such a long day, like, I don't want to have to worry about, is the camera boat behind me? I got to take a leak. You know what I mean? And it was like, I was just like, I feel like somebody sent me that clip as a reel, and I was like, this is the jigsy and bigsiest fucking elite tournament angler I've ever fucking seen in my life. Yeah. This is, we need to get this guy on the fucking show. Yeah. Oh, man, it's fucking crazy. It is fucking nuts. Let's shift gears, though. Let's go ahead. Yeah. We'll talk. I know Joe's got a hot story for you guys.
Yeah. So we already kind of talked about it. My first story is kind of just, talking about how Cliff Prince finally won a fucking Elite Series event, which is awesome for him. Yep. On Wheeler Lake, and that was at 80 pounds, 15 ounces was his total weight there. So that's awesome that, this dude's made it, 13, 14 years every year into the Elite Series, and finally, he's been in the money, he just hasn't won. So good on him. I don't know a ton about him, but just the top three: Cliff Prince, Ray Hanselman, and John Cox. And Cliff Prince was 3 pounds ahead of second place and 10 pounds ahead of third place. So that's a big difference. Yeah. So the other story I have is there's not a ton of like juicy fun stuff going on in the fishing world that are making like national headlines, but just for your guys' essay, 7 new bass species just became eligible for world records, including the Florida and Alabama bass. So I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys knew this, but like for like certain spotted bass, what they call, the Alabama bass, those were not eligible for any kind of world record before, this week. Yeah, it was just basically largemouth, smallmouth. So let's read it here. 7 new bass species just became eligible for records, include Florida and Alabama bass, plus any new world record, all tackle submissions for largemouth bass. Well, I'm sorry, this is different. Largemouth bass will require genetic testing to qualify for the record books. The International Game Fish Association has greatly expanded the species of black bass that qualify for its record books. IGFA now recognizes 7 new black bass species for all tackle world record availability. And the organization has revised 4 of 7 existing black bass records, according to a Thursday press release from the agency. The expansion of bass species included for IGFA records comes following an extensive professional fisheries study that appeared in an American Fisheries Society journal. The research was reviewed and accepted by the staff, who have now altered its record-keeping categories. The world record changes have been made to adhere to current fisheries taxonomic consensus, whatever that means. The 7 new species that they recognize are the Alabama bass, the Florida bass, the Neosho bass. Josh, what's a Neosho bass?
I have no idea.
Come on, dude. I figured if anyone knew, you would. I have no fucking clue what the Neosho bass
is. Let's Google it.
And 4 different species of red-eye bass.
Really?
Yeah. As distinctively different fish. They've recognized these as distinctively different fish species. Alabama bass are distinguished from the smaller and more widely distributed spotted bass. The fishery studies showed distinct enough differences to warrant separate categories for Florida bass and largemouth bass, which are often indisguisable without genetic testing. For this reason, they have made these clarifications. Florida bass are eligible for line class, tippet class, junior. Yeah. So just to talk about the different classes here. And, essentially the genetic testing is being required due to, sometimes that you put this bass species up against this bass species.
And you can't tell.
And you might not be able to tell visually.
Yeah.
So that's taken off here like immediately. I guess the only thing I would be curious about is, some of the people have maybe turned in an Alabama bass, you know know what I mean? So does like the biggest on record automatically become the world record, or
is that Alabama the same Alabama spot that's a problem in like East Tennessee?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so I don't think they get big, but I don't think they get world record big like largemouth. Like I don't think.
No. So I guess it like for us, like we have our state pin, state record stuff. So it's like, whoever whether it's Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, whoever carries that Alabama bass. Do they look at those like all those state records and they're like, okay, that's now the world record, or they just like starting fresh? That would be my question.
Oh yeah, I'll bet you.
Yeah.
And it's funny. You started talking about this, and it reminded me of something. We had Ethan Grizzard on the show a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so. And Ethan's an angler out of Georgia. He's also a Dark Horse Tackle team member. But in that interview, we talked about the state of Georgia has a program where you can, it's basically like almost like a bingo card, and there are, I forget how many different species. It's like 10 or something like that. It's something shocking of different black bass that are in the state of Georgia. And it's like a checklist. You check off when you did them all. And then when you get them, you get some kind of a certificate or something like that. I'm like, that's pretty crazy. So, but those... like, I think they're visually something that you're able to differentiate between. The genetic testing's crazy because, like, how do you do that?
Does that mean like you automatically have to fucking kill the fish?
Yeah.
which obviously I'm not a big fan of, but yeah, I'm not sure. They don't really get into that. Who the fuck knows? But Alabama bass. I've read a lot about. I mean, I'm sure Josh, have you caught Alabama bass like down in Louisiana and shit? Yeah. So I hear they're aggressive as fuck.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah,
they're fun.
And they're basically just eating all the fucking food, like taking it from. So like a lot of the water bodies and the fisheries that these Alabama bass are in, they're just like completely stunting the growth of the largemouth because they just eat everything. So, yeah, that's a cool new thing in like the record world. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go around and start catching more of these things. I'm just gonna follow Josh and all of his adventures that he has.
There you go.
The Neosho smallmouth is from the Oklahoma, Missouri, Ozark area. It's like a shoal bass.
Look at this. Lockwood Fishing says that they can use the scale of a fish for genetic testing. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense.
That makes sense.
Just pluck a scale.
Yeah, there you go. Pop a scale off, send it on in. They test that son of a bitch, clone it. Then you know what we have?
Super bass.
Bass with superhuman, superfish abilities. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll call it superfish abilities.
I mean, even it's fun. The one thing I will say for those of you who, even when I was able to travel, like when Josh and I traveled down to Hartwell and finally being able to get on the spot bass, dude, it was cool to be able to catch different species of bass essentially. So I definitely recommend if you get the opportunity to do that. Alabama bass is definitely on my list, just hearing about how aggressive and how big they can get. But yeah,
never being one to not have a multifaceted tip. Lockwood also says that you can use a scale to weigh out your cocaine, which is true.
No shit.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Sick.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break, guys. We're going to regroup. And we've got more show coming up in a bit. For those of you enjoying the live stream right now, we're going to have a little bit of banter as I set up segment number 2. For those of you listening at home, well, you should probably go and subscribe to our YouTube channel or join our Patreon to be a jig head if you want to get involved with some of this cool live stream stuff. We've got comments coming in all over the place. You can engage with us as the show is being recorded. Right now, it is a $5 a month subscription, and it gets you some additional discounts, some of our partners. It gets you all kinds of great stuff, plus the access to this regular show. And Joe, you and I have to get around to doing some of these monthly lives that are exclusive just for the jig heads, where we can record some content. Yes, we're going to drop it as a video on YouTube after the fact, but for right now, it'll be something that we'll be having a conversation with the jig heads and all. And
yeah, I agree.
And we're going to have those topics come from that community. So our jig heads will bring up questions. This will be a whole lot of fun. Let's take a short break, guys. We'll be back in just a bit. Don't go too far. Much more Jigs and Bigs after this.
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
Jigs and Bigs wants to take a moment to say thank you to our partners for helping us continue to push the limits of our fishing adventures and bring you amazing long-form podcast content. We need to thank Dark Horse Tackle, Omnia Fishing, A-Bay Lure, The Bay House, and The Ship Motel. We can't forget about Three Bells Outfitters, Torres Sunglasses, and of course, Reaction Tackle. Be sure to check the description of this podcast for any associated affiliate links or promo codes they've generously provided our listening audience. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for their support. Please consider supporting them and supporting the show in the same process. Thanks. Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one with the impeccable taste in fishing podcasts. Bobby Roast Beef here with a little call to action for all Jigs and Bigs listeners. We're opening up our hotline to you. Now you can call us to sound off about almost anything at 413-324-8519. Want to submit someone for our FTG segment? Call us at 413-324-8519. Care to maybe suggest a topic for Just the Tip or Bait of the Week? Call us at 413-324-8519. Maybe you just want to give us or anyone else a little shout out on the show, or you want to suggest a guest for the beef seat. You guessed it. Call us at 413-324-8519. The Jigs and Bigs hotline is there for you to leave a message with us 24/7. Just call 413-324-8519. Also, you can check that number in the notes of this podcast. That guy indeed. Now, we got a 2 for this week. One of these came in via a DM on Instagram from Dave Urkey, the Wolf of Walmart. In fact, he put out a TikTok and I believe an Instagram reel about this himself, explaining the whole situation. We're going to touch on that. And then we got something that just came in just today, right before we started the show, from Zach over at Dark Horse Tackle. And he's got some information. And I think this is going to set off a great conversation between the three of us, fellas. Let's talk about Dave's dead cat. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, it's fucking terrible. But so Dave,
Josh, do you follow Dave Urkey on the Wolf of Walmart?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you gotta follow him.
He's
solid dude, but he puts on some funny shit. But this story was fucking wild. But sorry, Bobby, go ahead.
You could tell this fucking bothered him a lot.
Yeah,
and it's shitty when shit like this happens. So, I guess like his cat had been missing or something, and like a responsible pet owner, you have a chip in your pet so that if somebody finds this pet, you can get alerted to where they are and go and get them and everything. Well, the cat had been out and he had gotten reached out to by like animal control or some agency or something like that, saying that they had found the cat. They scanned the cat. And that the cat, in fact, was no longer, it was deleted. I think that's what the kids say now.
Deleted.
So Dave was like, okay, what can I do? Can I go and pick the cat up? And, I want to do like a little funeral or something like that. Like, what can I do? And the guy's name was Jake. And apparently he said, oh, you don't need to do anything. Like, we have it. It's all under control. We just want to alert you and let you know. We found the cat. We've already handled it. Everything's fine. Blah, 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 blah. So Dave had this idea that his cat had died and that they had collected the cat and had handled the situation. Dave went for a walk with his daughter, who is adorable, by the way. Have you seen the video that, like, Dave put out a video today about changing up the pancake game? And man, when I say this, like, great job. So he's making pancakes for his daughter and stuff. Well, they had
and just so Josh can, because I know Josh is viewing a lot of things. So he lives in California. Just keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, he lives in California. Yep, he's a California guy, and he so he's out for a walk with his daughter. He's pushing the stroller and stuff. They're going along, and across the street he sees his dead cat across the fucking street. So he goes over to look at this and he's checking it out and he's like, holy shit. But like, why would this guy scan the cat and say, no, everything's all good, and then just leave him there? Now, I forget exactly what had happened, if he had then collected the cat and, had a little cat funeral and, for his own, himself, exactly how it all went down. But like, it's just fucked up. So Jake, fuck you. Fuck you, Jake.
Dude, I mean,
it's
so
fucked
like
up.
I could just picture it in my mind, he's like, because obviously they told it, and I don't have a cat, but if this like happened to my dog who's here he's actually trying to get the yellow jacket, by the way, but
nice.
So think about this. This dude like took, and it's California. Yeah. So like in my mind, I'm thinking like, it's so like every street like comes off as being congested in California.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like these dudes like took the time to fucking scan this thing like, oh, yep, that's the one. And then just like kicked it to like the side of the road, and we're like,
what the fuck?
fuck it,
Jake?
whatever. The guy, they'll never see it, whatever. And then like Dave, like whatever. But his wife, his daughter having this like,
that's the worst part.
Thankfully, it was on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
But like, if I did that with like my daughter Emma, dude, she would be she would be fucked up for years for that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, she still asks me why I shot the roosters.
Oh,
I mean, so she's like, Dad, but why'd you do that? Why didn't you just like bring him to a different farm? I'm like, oh my God. So,
that is brutal.
I don't even know if I've ever told that story, but yeah,
that's quite a bit right there. I thought we were talking about Marcus for a moment, but damn, that's a whole other deal.
Oh my God. Okay, do we have 2 minutes, guys?
We do.
This is a great story.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes.
Okay, so long story short, so we had two roosters. They both attacked Emma like at the same time, like ganged up on her. Yeah. So, for Josh, I don't know if I've told you this story. I think Bob, I've told you at least on the side, Bobby. So I'm like, fuck this. I was like, fuck these things. I go in and I grab my my AR-22, and I'm like, I get them back. I get them back in the coop, and like Emma's crying. Her back was all scratched up from their fucking claws and shit. And I go to Meg. I go, all right, just bring her inside and I'll take care of them. Like, and she's like, okay. So like now I'm at like, it looks like I thought she like walks away. So now I'm in the coop and I just start like, like killing these fucking things.
Quote Frank Reynolds.
He came in and started blasting.
So dude, and then I just hear, whoa! I look back and Meg never brought her in the house.
Oh, so what the fuck, Meg?
I go, oh my God. I told you to bring her in the house. She's like, she didn't want to. I was like, who gives a shit? Like, she's in the house.
Wow.
It was like, oh God, it was. I mean, now it's funny because she like even Emma like she let. I mean that kid sees some shit already here at my house, but yeah, that's a story we'll be telling her for fucking until the day I'm in the ground. But yeah, it was funny as shit.
A slow motion shot of Joe's face going.
Did you? and then like with Marcus, that one turkey that Samuel Jackson killed, the one fucking male turkey I have left.
Oh yeah,
we saw it. I was like before she saw it, I was like fuck. So I went down there and I literally just like fucking whipped him in the back of my woods, dude. I was like, she never goes down there. Like whatever, coyotes will take care of it. So like even now to this day, anytime, because he looked like kind of like a wild turkey, she'll be like, we have a field down at the end of the street. She's like, oh yeah, I saw Marcus in the field again today. Because I just told her, I was like, yeah, Marcus just kind of went and did his own thing. He like lives out in the woods now. She's like, so she's always like, yeah, I saw Marcus again today. Oh, but yeah, I'm like, oh, you sure did, kiddo.
That was a good get because now every wild turkey is Marcus, and that's how it should be.
Exactly.
Now, from now on, every time I see a wild turkey going anywhere, I'm gonna be like,
hey Marcus, how you doing?
I never fucking should have bought all these goddamn birds.
The bird man.
It's a very, very strange life when you have livestock. It really is. But we have another FTG, and I think this is actually going to create a really good discussion. I'm interested in what you guys have to see. So here is Zach with a little bit of a piece of his mind.
Wow. I think I might just call this to hear Bobby talk whenever I'm lonely. This is Zach from Dark Horse Tackle, and I'm calling in with an FTG. I want to say fuck that guy to anybody that sells their product as something that is going to help you catch your next PB. Because it's just not the way it goes. You're either going to get really freaking lucky and catch your PB, or you're going to put a ton of time in and a ton of work. And you're eventually going to catch your PB. So fuck that guy to anybody who tries to sell your new PB as what their base or their product can do for you. It's ridiculous. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Oh, yeah. And happy Father's Day, everybody.
So let's talk about it. This came off the heels of an ad, and I'm not going to mention the advertiser or anything, but basically that's what the ad was targeted as. Like,
you want to catch your next PB? You got to get this bait. It's only going to fucking happen if you catch this fucking fish with this fucking bait. Fuck you.
That's basically the way it fucking came off. And I can't agree anymore with Zach with this. I hate that kind of marketing because it takes folks, especially folks that don't have much experience in fishing, and they're just like,
well, I gotta get that because if I'm gonna get that new PB, if I'm gonna catch it, I need that crankbait. I ain't shit unless I have that chatterbait.
And that could not be further from the truth.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though?
Yep.
And I know Josh is around my age, so I know he fucking did it. And if he tries to deny it, I'm gonna call the bullshit flag. Bobby's a little older, but dude, I can't tell you how many fucking mornings I spent sitting on my fucking living room floor in my tighty whities and fucking eating my Fruit Loops, watching the fucking Banjo Minnow fucking infomercial.
I was just gonna say
over and over and over again, being like, I fucking need that thing. Like, I'm gonna catch every fucking fish in the pond with that lure. And so I agree. I agree with Zach. Like, I agree about like us being, the anglers that we are now, and know that's total bullshit. But it's like, it's almost like going back to that old school marketing.
Yeah.
Like in that fucking that younger, like more I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like
those infomercials or
just like going back to that old school marketing tact. Yep. So
and the thing is like the marketing hasn't really ever changed. It's just the vehicle. It's like it used to be, you saw it on, cable TV in the off hours. They would, use these infomercials to sell products. Yeah. And now you get the same thing, but it's going to show up as a reel or a TikTok. And you're going to be like, fuck, I really need that.
Yep.
And people,
they're going for the naive kids, dude. That's what the naive kids who know that their parents are going to buy them that fucking shit. You know what I mean? Or they're going to go out and spend that money.
And the thing is like, it's what it gets down to is just like Zach said, you're either going to get very, very lucky or you're going to put in a bunch of time and make it work. Like I recently had a conversation, and you mentioned the Banjo Minnow. I recently had a conversation with my buddy Paul, and Paul in the 90s was like all about the Banjo Minnow. Like he still has parts of his kit,
Oh, fuck yeah. Everyone was about it in the 90s.
And he's just like, he was telling me a story about how he went out and he was throwing a Banjo Minnow into the water, and there was a dude right next to him throwing the exact same one, exact same color, and caught like 3 fish to his 0. And he's like, this guy was probably like 20 feet away from me. And I'm like, I mean, maybe that 20 feet made a difference. Maybe there was something over 20 feet over that made a difference. In fact, I would probably stake my reputation on that there was a rock pile or a stump or something that was holding those fish there. That there was something there going on. It's not ever about the bait. Except when it is, because sometimes it pays a fact. Like there's, I wish I could say that that were, that it were possible that you could buy a magic lure and all the fish are going to bite it. And like the closest thing that there is a big Joshy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
You're right. Which are fucking phenomenal. You know what, Josh? I'm gonna bring you up some of those to St. Lawrence because I know we talked about. Did I give you some of the big Joshies yet?
No.
Oh, they're fucking dirty, dude. You're gonna love those things.
It's
named after me.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of like it's a better version of the I like it better than like the Spark Shad.
Oh.
Really? Yeah. That's a bold ass statement.
So my kid, Jeremiah, now he has 4 pins now for the state this year.
Dude, that's awesome. He has 2 more pins than I do. Good for him, dude.
3 of them came off the Spark Shad.
Yeah.
3 of them came off the Spark Shad. I like not to get it, I would go on a tangent of baits. I like its movements a little bit better than the Spark Shad, and it lasts longer. that a Spark Shad does. Yeah. But yeah. Can I give you guys a quick FTG?
Yeah, throw one in there. Fuck it.
So this is me. You guys want to hear a wicked funny story that happened yesterday?
Yes.
Not fishing related. This just goes to show like how much of a fucking asshole I am, like inadvertently. So coming back from Thayer's. So after we went to Thayer's, we went to like the Mystic Village. I don't know if you guys have been down there. Like it's a really cool spot if if Josh ever wants to bring his lady down there. It's a really cool spot.
It is nice, yeah.
But yeah, so we're on our way back and we kind of hit some traffic and like there's a bunch of like 1 lane into 2 lanes. So it's like everyone decides to go in at the last second. So I'm already pissed. And there's a car in front of me with a bunch of like older, like 2 older couples, older guy in the back seat, like with his wife. And I'm in my wife's car. My wife's car is something you don't see on the road very often. Mm-hmm. So it gets a lot of like looks and stuff, but that wasn't really registering to me. And so this old guy's like looking behind, like I had to stop kind of quick. I didn't get anywhere near the car, but it was because, just the way the traffic stopped. So the guy's just like staring at me and like through the back window. And I'm like, this motherfucker, like, why is he just like staring at me? Like immediately I'm getting fucking pissed. And Meg's just like, will you just chill the fuck out? And then, we he moves over the slow lane. We like pass him. And like me being the asshole I am, I like slow down. Like I'm waiting for this guy to fucking like say something. You know what I mean? Doing 60. I'm like I'm going to fucking do something about it. And so he's looking like staring at me and like, and dude, so like automatically that just like gets me so fucking mad. So I'm like throwing on, I'm like fuck you with the, middle finger, everything, like just giving it to him. And I like pull off and like my wife's like, are you fucking done? I was like, I'm done. She goes, he was just looking at the fucking car, you idiot. He wasn't like,
and you were winding up to throw a half drink.
Here I am thinking like he's judging me because like I got a little close to him because I had to slam on the brakes. And she's like, you need help. I was like, oh, all right. So yeah, so I was kind of like my own FTG yesterday, but yeah, that's all I got.
Oh man. So fuck the marketers, man. Like ignore all of that shit. Don't worry about it. Like, people are going to market shit to you. And part of it about being, you hear this phrase thrown around a lot, informed consumer. Be an informed consumer. I am dropping empty cans all over the place. Be an informed consumer. You know what I mean? When somebody says something like, this is
the best bait ever. If you're not throwing this lure, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Like, consider the source. Like, they're trying to sell lures. Like, you very well may not. You're going to catch your PB by being tenacious and by getting out there and fishing as often as you can, and it's going to happen. That's just the way that it works. It's a numbers game, Yeah, fuck that, man. That shit just gets under my skin. Let's pull back the beef curtain here before we move on to the next segment. I am getting videos from the one and only Cody Lockwood Fishing. He's sending me videos. He has been working on something he is calling the dildo cannon. Josh, you probably don't know what we're referring to here, but like, what was this? Was this year 1 or year 2 of Jigs and Bigs? It was
year 1 because it was year. Oh no, I think it was year 2.
I think it was
you
21.
And I both. Yeah. So it was year 2 because we were both in year 2 for Jigs and Bigs and for the shop.
Yep. Yeah. So we had this little like get together with the whole Hookset Hoodlum fam. We called it Boats and Scroats. It was a little tournament, and the losers had to eat Rocky Mountain oysters, which I sourced and prepared, and they were delicious. We had 30 people there.
They were actually really good, yeah.
And 29 people ate them. Like, it was, I bought like 8 pounds of fucking boats and of testicles. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So we had a good time with it. It was a blast, but we decided we wanted to have a little bit of fun with Lockwood, who had made the journey all the way up from Maryland. And it was OG Scuba Steve pulled some covert shit. I brought a prop that I had used at trivia. Yeah, my trivia nights are weird. I had a giant fucking dildo with a suction cup on the end of it, and we were going to attach it to his
Black
trailer.
one.
Yeah, of course. And we attached it with zip ties to the back of his trailer, and this man drove all the way down from Massachusetts to Maryland with the back. At some point, I want to say I got a text message saying, like, you guys are assholes. I only discovered that, like, when he got back. I guess somewhere in Jersey, there was a car full of, like, college girls that went by, and they were laughing hysterically. And he's like, yeah.
Josh like this on the back of the trailer.
Bang, bang, bang. He gave it a name. It's called Daryl, and now apparently he's making some kind of a cannon for some other debauchery to send Daryl flying. So yeah, I'm gonna watch this video, and I may make it a reel. If I'm not going to get fucking canceled. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Nick says, let's bring that tournament back. You know what, Nick? I think that's a fantastic idea. Let's talk October. I think that's a really fantastic idea. It's also a fantastic time of year for Rocky Mountain oysters. I don't know what I'm talking about at all, but they're delicious, man. It's like scallops, but beefy, you know?
So that's so funny. I was like, that's what we compared it to. We're like, it's like the texture of scallops, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like a fried scallop. It's, oh man, out of this world. I made a really nice, like, Cajun, what the hell do you call that? Like an aioli almost. And it was out of this world. A little spicy, you know? I'm a fucking mess. That is just fucking crazy. Let's talk gear of the week, guys. I have something specific to talk about here, and it's been about 6 months, and I think you guys are deserving to know my feedback.
Okay, gearheads, it's time to talk tools. Jigs and Bigs gear of the week.
All right, guys. So I'm going to talk about it. This week, I am talking about my BFS reel. I got this reel in January or late December, and I've been using it since we had open water, and I have caught so many fish with this setup. It is absolutely awesome. The reason why I want to talk about this reel here is because of the price point. If you are toying around with BFS, you want to experiment a little bit, and you don't want to run out and buy like some really, really nice, high dollar point, high value reels that are out there. There's great reels that are out there. Daiwa makes great reels. Shimano makes great reels. Arc makes great reels. Naco has great reels. Some of these reels are really expensive. What's nice about the Dark Wolf, and the reason why I took that leap, it is an $80 BFS reel. It is light as can be, and it does the job so unbelievably well at a price point where you're not investing a ton into it. Now, does it hold up? It's been 6 months. I've been fishing it really hard. I haven't had any issues so far. We'll talk again in another 6 months, in another 2 years, and see how it's doing then. But I feel at that point, I've gotten more than my $80 out of it, and I definitely wouldn't have an issue putting more money into it. The drag system's fantastic. They say in some of the reviews that it's a little bit over or under braked. I haven't had an issue, and I think that's going to depend more on the angler. There are modifications that you can do to this. A lot of folks get a little hot and heavy over the fact that this is a primarily carbon fiber and plastic reel. So we're not talking about an aluminum frame or anything like that. But again, I have caught 24-inch brown trout. I've caught 17-inch largemouth and smallmouth on here, a variety of different species, all kinds of stuff, and I haven't had any issues. Now, that's not to say that like you can just buy this reel and throw it on any rod, but I would recommend throwing it on any light, fast bait caster. That's what I'd recommend. A light, fast bait caster. And bait casting reel, and I think you'll be good to go. That's a great way to jump into BFS, to try it and make sure that you like it before you make any kind of major commitment. BFS Bogley, of course, not exactly the guy to take that advice. He kind of went hard in the paint right out the gate, but you know what? It's paying off for him, and he's killing it, If you're like me and you want to kind of, give it a sample to see if this is a style of fishing that you're into, the Sayonara, that starts with a T, by the way, Sayonara, Dark Wolf Ultra 50. That's the one to go to right there. You can get this reel in a variety of different spots. I'd recommend checking out Bait Finesse Empire. They seem to have more stock than anything else. But you can find this thing on Amazon as well. $79 is the price point, and it is well worth the money if you're going to go ahead and check it out. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So now, neither of you guys have ever fooled around with this reel. Joe, you've never casted my setup, have you?
I haven't. You just said it's on Amazon, so I'm literally
looking it
up, right?
Dude, it's a good reel, man. The Dark Wolf is a player, and it's low cost enough where you can toy around with it and figure out if it's something that you actually like. And that was sort of my thing back in like November, December. I was like, yeah, I think BFS is going to be that thing that I look into and check out. And I'll tell you what. I have never, ever had such a cool experience as when I was in the river this past weekend under a bridge after talking to a troll, flipping micro jigs up against rocks and just zipping them back. And I mean, it was just such a unbelievably cool style of fishing. I would have actually continued much further down, but I didn't want to go too far because of my kayak and all of my shit was just out in the open. So I wanted to stay nearby so I could pop up and back and check on things as we go, because I don't trust nobody. So, that's that. So I would highly recommend it. You guys go ahead and check that out. Now, let's go ahead and shift gears once again. And we haven't done one of these segments in a hot minute.
It's time to go broke on the boat. Joe and Bobby's guide to fishing your funds away.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
It's 100% true. It's 100% true. Yeah, so we're going to talk about reasons why you should buy new. The plus sides of buying a new boat versus being in that used market. I'm going to go ahead and it'd be just because I've got the most recent experience. So I put a couple of weeks into looking around the used market and figuring out what was there, and I had a price point. And sure, there's conveniences that are in there. You pay off the boat, outright if you've got a mountain full of cash that you can pull from and just buy it like that. Fantastic. But at least when you're buying a new boat, you get a handful of things. Number one, you can figure out an actual budget with a monthly payment that you can live with. That's, I think, is probably step one. Like, what are you looking at for a payment? Figure that out. And then you can apply that to, well, what type of a boat do I need and how much of a boat can I get for that, for this amount of money. And I think the other thing that's just a massive note to pay attention to is warranty. And if there's one thing that has really sort of given me some thought about this, it's what Joe's going through with his boat currently, Because there's something to be said about like, oh, I'm having some major problems and it's covered.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like my thoughts on this is, and Josh can attest to this, is, and Bobby, you'll see it. I can't wait. Not that I can't wait for you to see it, but it's how it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
You're going to dump money into the boat.
Yeah.
Warranty or not, you're going to dump money into the boat, whether it's an upgrade or, whatever. Was it break out another 1,000 is like the actual boat stands for.
Yep.
Yeah. So warranty is huge. Unfortunately, most boats these days will give you a lifetime warranty on the hull, but everything else above that hull is like 3 years. It's typically 3 years, which is like, that's not a long time.
No,
that's not a long time. And there really isn't any like, at least with a car or something, you can purchase an extended warranty if need be, if you feel that, I did that with my truck. So what a lot of it has to do with is, the dealership or the retailer you buy from, who, typically a little bit better than the other. But yeah, it's like the one thing my dad, the good advice that's cost me a lot of money that my dad gave me. He's like, if you can buy new, always buy new, so you're not taking on somebody else's headache.
That was the other thing I was going to bring up.
That's what my dad always said. Because there's, especially now, this day and age is like, there's no that I know of. There's no there's no Carfax for boats that I know of. No. You know what I mean? So it's like you never know. Like, so it's like, yeah, this thing's fucking mint, dude. You don't know what's going on. I mean, I've seen Josh like having issues. Like, I'm helping him out trying to pull fucking wire in his boat and shit, and like. Yep. You know, I with the shit I have going on, it's lucky enough where it's still under warranty. But like I couldn't even imagine. Like, luckily, you know, I have like JCS. If this happened to where, you know, it wasn't under warranty, my boat would be down at JCS right now. You know, and I have full confidence that they would have figured out and probably had it done a lot fucking quicker than the place I'm dealing with now.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, it's under warranty. You know, it's under warranty, so I have to go to that facility.
Yeah, because no matter how good the deal is on getting it fixed elsewhere, getting it fixed under warranty makes sense because you're not paying out of pocket at all.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So I got a couple. Let's talk a couple points here about a new boat. Right, the benefits of a new boat. Number one,
shiny.
You can. Nice and shiny. Nice and shiny. Number two, you can get 20-year fucking financing for them.
Yeah. Yep.
So that brings your payment down. Like, if you know, boats are, let's say, you know, like if you're looking at $100,000 boat, like, you know, for, you know, car warranties go up to like what, maybe 7.5 years, 8 years these days. Like, that's a
huge warranty.
If you're not putting a shit ton of money down.
Yep.
Like with a boat, you know, you send that out to 20 years. It's a little different. They don't do that with the used boats. A bank will not give you a 20-year term on a used boat.
Yeah.
If you're financing.
They definitely won't.
It's always that, like, I'm going to take a 20-year loan out, but I'll definitely pay it off sooner than that. You know what I mean?
It's never going to happen.
That's what everyone tells themselves.
Yep.
I said that with the Skeeter, and here I am fucking 2.5 years in looking to trade the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's the way. But I will say this too. There is, like, just like a vehicle, right? There is trade-in value. You know what I mean? And that comes into play. Like, if you buy the right boat that has and you can only look back at past history, but it has a tendency to hold more trade-in value.
Yep.
When you trade it in, you're going to get a little bit more for that, you know, whatever it might be.
Yep.
Brian Latimer just did a video, and this was like last week or the week before, and it was all about like how to get your first boat, like and how what's going to happen. He's like, your first boat's not going to be your favorite. And he's like, I don't know anybody who knows that or who thinks that their first boat is going to be their favorite. Now, I will say this, that I count my kayaks as my first boats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, I love the Ascend 128 FT. I thought that was great. Fantastic kayak. It was wonderful. But when I got into the Titan, it was a whole other ball game. You know, more space, a whole lot more other stuff.
Yep.
I don't know that this situation is going to apply because I've waited and considered so much, but his first advice was buy whatever boat you can afford to and plan how you're going to fund it. So that might mean you're going to take a job like going around in your neighborhood and doing lawns for people and save up a few $1,000s and drop that down, then get into a boat and then figure it out and then upgrade. You know, then you've got something to work with, and you can trade that in for whatever the value is that they're going to give you. You can trade that in and apply towards something else. And you're going to have to keep grinding, and that's going to probably turn into more than a side hustle at some point. But it can be done, you know?
Yep. I mean, luckily for us, fishing boats in general are much more marketable on the used market versus, your fucking pontoons or your ski boats or the dreaded fucking wake boat. Because there's there's less bass boats than there are like ski boats and
boats.
Shit like that. So, wreck boats. So the market's there. What do you think, Josh? You have a ton of experience in the bass boat market or the fishing boat market.
The used market's slowing down a little bit right now, I think. Just because everything is. I'm not into it day to day, but I definitely think sales are down overall in every industry. But it's like you said, it's because there's not a lot of boats out there, especially if you're picky. So, the value is still always there. If you're in the right load on the front end, you're not going to lose money in any deal. So, it's really just getting your APR and everything in there.
Yep.
Which are dog shit right now.
Yeah, that's what I think a friend of mine had found out his APR on his boat loan wasn't actually a fixed rate or something, and something changed on his credit score, and then it's off the fucking charts.
Yeah.
So it's something I didn't even think of when I bought my boat. Is fixed, but I didn't even think that was possible.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's because it is a recreational vehicle considered a boat.
Is a pirate.
Dude, you got to meet Cody, Josh.
We got to get Cody up here. This dude is the
funniest dude on the planet. I fucking miss Cody. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. Dude's the man. But yeah, it sucks because you're always going to get raped with the fucking APR on a boat, no matter what. Especially you can get something better if you do a 10 to 15 year. Yep. But if you do that 20-year loan, they're going to make you pay for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's obviously that's what I took a 15 on the Skeeter. But on this, if I get this new boat, I got to do the 20.
Yeah.
With the cost of this boat, I have to do a 20, and I'm not gonna put a ton of, if any, money down because I got projects around the house. I just bought 2 fucking new vehicles.
Oh Jesus Christ!
My cash money is dwindling, and I don't want to start going into stocks and shit like that. So, but yeah, so it's in my opinion, if you can do it, if you can afford it, do the research as to what you would be paying, as a payment or whatever for a new boat versus that old boat. Because again, especially going into the marketplace, if you get it from a dealer, they're usually with a used boat, there will be some kind of warranty.
Yep.
But going into marketplace, something like that, there's no Carfax.
Yeah.
You have no. That boat could have been at the bottom of a fucking lake at one point, and they fucking brought it up and patched the fiberglass. You know what I mean? You would have no. And if they cleaned it up good enough, you would have no way of knowing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely recommend, if you can, get new. There's so many boats out there that are that you can get for the amount of money that. Oh, let's just not eat out this fucking one. Let's eat out one less day a week. You won't even notice it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And shit like that. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
No, I agree, man. I think, and it depends. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody too. There are people who just, when my wife and I first started dating, she was like, I don't ever want to have a loan on anything. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, that's not, this is America. Shit don't work like that anymore. It just doesn't.
No.
I'm like, it would be nice. It would be really nice. But I'm like, nobody goes out and buys a vehicle for cash anymore. And when you do, it's a problem. It's tough.
Yeah, it's
cocaine, meth, and heroin has a low-cost investment with a quick high return, Joe. That's fair. You get into that, especially, and I will say this much, especially meth. High risk, but you can make it. And that is a big fucking difference. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk about selling drugs, let's talk about selling drugs. You can with a boat, I can move that shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Only if Breaking Bad was based on true events.
If only Breaking Bad. Yeah, exactly. We're based on migrating methamphetamine from Detroit to freaking Canada. This is some good toot, eh? I'm so sorry, Nick. But that's what I'm saying. It's not for everybody to go new, but explore that option and figure and weigh it out for yourself. Is it worth it? Yeah. Am I going to have this X amount dollar a month payment in addition to my regular expenses for the next 15 to 20 years? Is it worth it to me to do that? Am I out on the water enough to be able to make it happen? Is there a way that I can use this boat to turn a profit potentially? You know? Are you going to start being a guide? You know, who knows? Don't read too much into that, guys. I don't want to fucking take anybody fishing. I just want to fish and then have ramp beers afterwards. Like, that's it. I don't want to fucking get you guys all on my spots. Not that I've got spots, but you know, I got spots.
You're always going to get those. You know, last thing I'll say is, you know, we talked about. I think it was before we actually like went live, but everyone's going to say like a boat is a terrible investment, and for many people it probably is. But dude, if you're doing what you love and you're happy doing it, then it's not a bad investment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad investment.
You can't take that money with you when you die.
Seriously, if you have the coin, fucking do it.
Yeah,
do it.
Enjoy it.
Watch how much happier you'll be.
That's what I'm saying right there. That's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Did we miss anything in it? We got Gear of the Week, broke on the boat. We are looking good.
Looking good.
We are absolutely killing it this week, guys, with an amazing show. We do not have a guest this week, but I am very, very, very excited because next week I am recording with the one and only John Hagens. And I've been looking forward to this. This is if you are a multi-species angler or you've been dabbling a little bit with the idea of getting into multi-species, you're going to want to hear what John has to say because John fishes for it all. Essentially, his only quantifying factor in if he's going to fish for it is does it in fact have gills? That's pretty much it. That's coming up next week. We're going to make this show just a quick little 2-part little segment here. We'll wrap stuff up. Do you guys have anything that you want to go over or anything we want to talk about as we wrap up?
I think we did a pretty good job.
I think you guys are going to fucking absolutely kill it up at the St. Lawrence. I am so fucking jealous.
Some hair jig action, some BFSing.
Fuck yeah.
I'm telling you, you fuck around a little
killing
bit
it from the bank.
Joe, you can come with me in the Blazer.
Perfect.
Joe, you want to take the Ascend up?
Nah,
I'll tell you.
I might have one little trick up my sleeve.
I think you
might have
one
little trick up my sleeve.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right. Oh, it's going to be good stuff, guys. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Jigs and Bigs. Thanks to everybody who was involved in the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. Remember, follow Jigs and Bigs on YouTube. I'm hoping to have a video to scrap. This weekend was so weird. I'm going to go through that footage and see if it's worth posting. This week, I'm going to be out hitting it hard for some multi-species action, so there should be some stuff coming up there as well. And I also talked about, I posted a video just this week on my PB, my new PB largemouth from this past April, and talked about the bait that I use there, all kinds of good shit. And I'm going to go into why I keep the records that I do with length versus weight. And that video will probably be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thanks to everybody who was in here, everybody, all of that tuned into this. Josh, thanks for being a part of the show, dude. We love having you on here, man.
Anytime, guys, give me a shot.
You came on this show. You didn't fish at all since the last time we had you on, and you still gave us more fishy credibility, I think, than anything, man. If that isn't just a goddamn... It's amazing. I love that shit.
I'm a bass nerd for sure.
That's what it's all about. Joe, you got anything you want to wrap up with, or are we going to close this sucker out?
No, I can't wait to talk about St. Lawrence next week.
Fucking A, it's going to be
might have to bring Josh back on next week so we can piggyback.
Are you fishing Barton's Cove on Sunday?
Oh, I mean, maybe.
I'm going.
Are you?
Yeah.
Then yeah, probably.
My buddy lives right next to it, so I'm going to tell that.
I forgot about Barton, so yeah, probably.
Absolutely. That's do epic Sunday night, a St. Lawrence trip, and then a derby.
Oh.
I'll take Monday off. We'll get cocked.
Yeah, fuck
that is one area that I have never experimented with was Barton's Cove, and I'm looking forward to it with the boat.
Last year, Bobby, I figured out how to get up to the dam, like all the way to the dam in the boat.
Oh, really?
All you could see is fucking mud shooting up from the back of his fucking boat.
Lockwood says, Bobby, if you need a guest next week, I'll do a dildo cannon Daryl spot real quick. I love that. That might have to happen there, Cody. It very well might. Yeah, dudes, go get it. And what day are you guys? Oh, okay. So, Josh, you'll be back on Sunday for the Derb, and you'll be back in town. So you won't be recording live on location.
No. I'll be back. So I come back to town Friday.
Oh,
Friday night or Saturday. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And then we have that Derb fucking on Sunday.
Nice. Well, good luck, boys. Hope you guys fucking get them, and maybe even bring home a check. Who the fuck knows? You know.
Good luck with the boat, Bobby.
I love it. Thank you, dudes. You guys have yourselves a good one. We'll see you next week, 7 days from now. More Jigs and Bigs goodness. You know, if you're not a jig head, the fuck are you doing with your life? Go to jigsandbigs.com, click that become a patron button, and sign up over at our Patreon. We'll see you guys in 7 days. More Jigs and Bigs goodness, like we always say.
It's an ass smoke some grass.